curls of your hair spring back to place until there's no more movement. Hey beautiful, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about loc shrinkage. Okay, recently I came across a video actually on Entoy video where she talked about a lady that was so emotional with what was happening to her newly installed Locs. Okay, so and I felt, wow, I just love the way Entoy addressed the whole thing. She was just so compassionate. Okay, and that made me to realize that I would like to talk about shrinkage. Okay, because it is one of the things that no matter how prepared you are for it, when it rolls in it's quite shocking. Okay, the lady might seem to look like someone that is, you know, dramatic and all, but I don't think so. I think she's just emotional. Okay, a lot of people are emotional on so many things. Like someone that keep plants at home, they will likely get annoyed if you do anything damaging to the plant. When it comes to our hair, most people are very sensitive. Okay, so I wouldn't want any one of you guys to make the same mistake that I think she made. I also think, just like Entoy thought so, that the person that installed her Locs probably did not, you know, explain so many things to her, or she herself, I mean the young lady, did not actually make our research. Okay, because when it comes to shrinkage, the rate at which your hair will shrink is going to be different from the rate at which another person's hair will shrink. Okay, shrinkage depends on your hair type, your hair texture, and your maintenance. Okay, when I locked my hair, I expected shrinkage. I read about it, I saw videos, I was ready to expect like 80% of my hair to shrink. It did shrink, but when it happened, I looked at my picture and I felt, wow, this thing is looking funny. And I just, you know, closed it up and I forgot about it. Like I just moved on with every other thing in my life, and I forgot about what was happening to the loc at that time. Okay, because I knew at the back of my mind that it is going to pass. Okay, that it will get to a point, my hair will start to grow out, and I might likely not notice the shrinkage that much. Okay, but it is not the same story for someone that started with a very long hair. I started with 6 inches hair, like in most part of my head. Some were not up to, some were like more than, and I think the highest, the longest strand on my head was like 6 inches, which was around this area. Of course, hair in this area are quite smaller. In your loc journey, if you're not aware of what to expect, a whole lot of things is going to be shocking to you when it starts to roll in. The rate at which we all respond to all these changes differs. Okay, it really differs, and it has a lot to do with you. It's personal. Okay, number one thing that I observed that I want you guys to know is that if you're going to start your loc with long strands of hair, the shrinkage is going to be more visible than someone that is going to start with short strands of hair. Another thing that I would like you to know is that shrinkage on Afro kinky hair is really dramatic. It's obvious. Okay, it shows the most. That's what I mean. And Afro kinky hair also is the one that mat up beautifully well the most. Okay, Afro kinky hair texture also has to do with the type that you have. We don't have the same. I just want you guys to know that shrinkage is not a bad thing. So it is like the physical manifestation of the locking of your hair. All right, and the more hair you're starting with, the more visible it's going to appear to you. Everybody experience shrinkage. Those that are carrying loose natural hair experience shrinkage. Because it is loose, they have options on how they can stretch the hair. Unlike lock, with locks you cannot do a whole lot to it. You have limited things that you can do, and whatever it is that you are going to be doing to your lock is not going to be permanent. It is going to be temporal. At the same time, it still works for those that do not want to see it, coming up or see it all the time. The thing about lock is that because it requires less manipulation, your hair is left on its own and it kind of just continue to contract, mat up till it's just like it's getting more kinky, filling up all the spaces that were there when you just twisted the hair. The curls of your hair spring back to place until there's no more movement, no more space for it to shrink. Okay, that is when it stops. I have seen this process with loose natural. My elder sisters has complained to me how she feels that her hair is not growing, and I looked at the hair and I was like, are you sure it's not growing? And she was like, yes, because it has been like this ever since she started her natural hair. Because of what she told me, I became curious and I found out that the rate of shrinkage for your hair is not the same. Okay, I have experienced it. It's one of the things I didn't even like with my natural hair, and a lot of people don't like it. There are ways that you can actually control the shrinkage of your lock. If you're one of those that is overly bothered about shrinkage, I'm going to be listing the things that you can do, okay, and I'm going to be giving you one or two advice on what you can do in order for you to avoid shrinkage as much as possible. And when I say avoid, I mean it's going to be minimal. Okay, the shrinkage is going to be minimal. That's what I meant. And one of the things that you can do is for you to try out Bantu knot. Okay, Bantu knot is one of the ways that you can stretch your locks by twisting your hair round and leaving it for a while, couple of hours or even overnight. By the time you lose your locks the following day or some hours after, the hair is going to be coiled. You kind of stretch your locks while you are coiling it, and by the time you're done with that, even by the time your hair is straightening out on its own, because it's not going to remain coiled forever, it's stretching out on its own, you will see length retention. You'll see it appearing longer. At least this is something that I have done before, so I'm talking from experience. All right, another thing you can do to stretch your locks to avoid shrinkage to set in that much is for you to use roller set, or you check one or two videos on YouTube platform. You'll see some other people using roller set on their locks. Okay, it kind of stretches the locks, so so that is going to like minimize shrinkage. Another thing that you could use, try on twist out and braid out. Twisting your hair for a while, you kind of wrap up the strands of your lock, and in the process you are like pulling the hair to wrap it up. Or even if you are braiding, you're actually stretching it while you are braiding it, and by the time you loosen it after a while, it's going to be stretched. And imagine doing that every now and then. That is going to minimize shrinkage. Another thing that I have noticed, some people kind of thread their locks, and I don't know how that is, because I feel that is going to be painful. That is going to be painful, but it is something that others do. So, and I feel it's a way for them to stretch the locks as well. So if you don't think it's going to be painful to you, then maybe you want to try that. Okay, if you are aware of styles, different styles that you can do, styling kind of stretches the locks, so you might want to just try that out. One thing I know is that too much of anything is not good. Okay, so you want to try as much as possible to put a balance. Like, it's not something that you are doing overly, going over the top with, and it's not something that you are doing all the time. If you get what I mean, like, just put a balance to it. Okay, if you're just starting out, you're just starting your locks, I will advise that you start with braid locks instead of 2-strand twist, and that would be if you don't have anything against braid locks. Okay, I feel that if you're starting your locks with long hair, I'm talking about 12, 15, 16 inches of hair strand, that is very long, and you feel like you want to retain the length of your hair, it is best advised that you start your locks with braid locks. With braid locks, you're going to experience minimal shrinkage. Okay, and though it has its perks, I have a video on that. I'm going to link it at the end of this video. Another way that you can avoid or minimize shrinkage is for you to start your lock with short hair. Okay, it is not as if shrinkage is not going to set in with short hair. It will, but it is going to be minimal, because if you are starting your hair with long strands, then the length at which the shrinkage is going to set in is long, so it goes like down to like it's short. Okay, and so because the strands of your hair is long, you're going to notice it. It will be obvious. That is why you see some people, when they started their lock, it is on their back. Then after some time, it just comes to the shoulder or becomes like a bob afterward. Okay, but with short hair, if you're starting your locks with short hair, you're not going to notice it. By the time you are like, okay, what is happening to this hair? The new growths would have been out, such that you feel, okay, your hair has grown out, your hair is growing, and then the one you started with is just something tiny at the tip of the new growth. Okay, that is another way for you to like avoid witnessing shrinkage of locks. Okay, the third way that you can avoid shrinkage or minimize shrinkage to like 90% is for you to start your locks with lock extension or human hair. Okay, let's say you're starting with 4 inches of hair, and then the human extension is like 12. My dear, you're going to be starting with a very long hair from the beginning. By the time any shrinkage sets in, you're not even aware of it. Okay, so you wonder why a lot of people are like starting with long hair. Yeah, so many people are starting with long hair. So many people are adding lock extension. Some are adding human hair extension just for them to like have that length and fullness from the beginning of their journey. Okay, so don't get shocked and don't become emotional or feel as if you're making mistakes with your locks. Okay, what you need is enough research and the right information. And then the third one is for you to be able to profile your hair perfectly well, so you know what to expect. Okay, so guys, thank you once again for tuning in. I hope you've gotten 1 or 2 things here today. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so stay blessed, stay beautiful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.